Yes, sir. Good evening, folks. Good evening, good people. Welcome to another edition of Not Right, Not Wrong. I am one of your co-hosts, JJ, aka Just Ja.
JJ in the house.
Indeed. And I'm here with my comrades, my beloved comrades, the DARC. They call him Doc. What's goody, Brody?
I'm blessed, man. Alive and well, living right here, right now, joining you too. Pleasure is all mine being here. Let's see what's not right, not wrong.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
Okay.
And of course, we have the Empress.
Yes,
D1,
sir.
Miss Tamika. How are you there?
Amazing. I could be anywhere in the world tonight, but I decided to be here with both of you.
Oh, that's so nice.
All right. That was a
So
bar.
nice.
That was a bar.
Allow me to add, you look very nice in that too.
Yes. And channeling her
Thank
inner
you.
Maya Angelou. Even. Indeed. Yes. Phenomenal woman. That is me. I don't even know.
Yes, and
That's what
still I rise.
And still I rise, yes. Those are the two most famous.
Nice,
Yes.
nice.
Indeed. So, comrades, I kind of drove into D1's lane because this normally would be a topic that she would pick. So it's I think it's gonna be an interesting conversation tonight.
Okay, we
us.
in.
It's very it's spoken about few and far between, and it's been something that we've dealt with throughout decades in the modern times, as far as how we relate to each other as a people. And unfortunately, I see that it still happens today. And I think it's due to what kind of society we were born into or how we were programmed, unfortunately. We know we're in a country that was built on atrocities, one of them being racism. And racism has affected us collectively as a community where we're exercising that type of prejudice amongst each other. And what I'm talking about tonight is colorism. Colorism has occurred on many fronts in terms of favoritism, acquisition of favors, acquisition of power, obtaining of privilege and treatment depending on your shade of color. And unfortunately, people of a darker hue have experienced maltreatment throughout the years, whether it be economically, job-wise, even romantically. Now, I have to say this before we can pass on the mic and we can get into a discussion.
Okay.
This is going to be labeled as brothers will watch the show. They might simp me out. I might have another potential simp statement, folks.
Not again, John. Not again.
I may have another potential simp statement, people.
We've been coming clean a lot this season.
But listen. This is from my observation. My observation may be anecdotal, but for me, truth is truth, man. So although the darker hued people has been on the bad receiving end of this prejudice, being receptors of it, throughout the past 40 years, these modern times, dark boys and girls were on the receiving end of this prejudice. But, and these are times I'm only referring to times that we've grown up in, us Gen Xers. But I have to say, brothers, since the 90s, the dark man up to this day has gotten mad love.
We got it.
Since the 90s.
We got it.
The dark man has gotten mad love.
We got it.
from our women, from our counterparts.
We got it.
We've been looked at, admired as handsome, beautiful, sex symbols. Our sisters have shown the dark man love within the past 30 years. However, on the flip side, brothers, I gotta say it, not so much. I still hear comments about preference of lighter skinned women. I even have a friend, I'm not gonna name his name. He's darker than me. He only prefers lighter skinned women.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So brothers, gotta admit it. Hey, listen, right is right, right is wrong, not right, not wrong, right is right, wrong, right, wrong, not right, wrong.
All of it.
All of it, right?
Yeah. I like how you sum that
up. Bars.
You know what I'm saying?
Say that back again real fast.
Yeah. Right is right, wrong is wrong, not right, not wrong is right is wrong, not wrong, not right. You know what I mean?
That wasn't the same thing.
I like it though. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with it though. I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with it.
Brothers, we falling short. We're falling short on the reciprocity. We really are. We really are. Listen, dark women are just as beautiful as we are. We need to do a better job acknowledging that. I hear reasons that are kind of weak as opposed to why you find a lighter skinned sister more beautiful than a darker one, and it's not strong enough. I don't want to call it out, but I know where it comes from. We all know where it comes from.
Call it out then. Call it out.
A dislike of within. A dislike of yourself within. Now we can talk about where that comes from, the foundation. The foundation can be shaky, where it can introduce lack of self-esteem, self-hate, lack of self-love, and you're projecting it out, and you don't want to be with your opposite gender that looks just like you. But why would you not be? And this is not a statement to exclude or ostracize our light-skinned brothers and sisters. They're very beautiful people as well. But my whole point is that we're all beautiful. We all come in different shades and hues, and the colorism has to stop, but it's still ongoing. And we're definitely still perpetrating that part. So I'll end it on that and start the conversation off with you, Ms. D1. What are your thoughts on it? Do you see it existing to this day, and do you agree with my overall statement with regards to how we are conducting ourselves in their treatment of each other based on skin color?
Wow. Josh, so you said a lot.
Exactly. Exactly. You must have read my mind, D1.
Yeah, I don't even, oh man. Yeah, you said a lot. So I guess where I'll start with, overall, I do think colorism is a topic that needs to be discussed because it's still relevant. I'm not exactly sure how prevalent it is, but I know even within the past couple of years, there have been kind of entertainment stories about some people still bleaching their skin. Them I bleach, okay, anyway. But yeah. So so clearly it's still relevant. It does, to me, smell of I don't know if I want to go as strong as to say self-hate, but some lack of self-acceptance. And I think to speak more, I think colorism exists in a lot of communities that have shaded skin, right? It's not just racially Black. It's like ethnic communities that have variations of skin tone. I've heard many people in those communities talking about colorism and the value of the lighter your complexion is, the more you can pass for white, the better you are. And I think part of that, if we go, I don't know how far back we would have to go, but I think the root of that is safety, right? If I can pass, then I don't get victimized. If my family members can pass, then we don't get victimized. If I can pass, but they don't, I have a choice to make. Like, which side am I going to choose? I know for me personally, so that's like kind of the bigger, broader picture. For me personally, I'm always confused about skin tone, quite honestly. Like, I would call myself brown skin and or dark skin. And depending on who I'm around, that person might say something different. So there's this comparison, right? It's where do you fall on the spectrum? And depending on, honestly, the time of the year, in the summer, my complexion is different than it is in the winter time. And so it's the way I see myself is not always the way someone else will see me, which is an interesting feeling to have. And then I try to change the language. Like, once I hear certain language more often, like I think I came across brown skin because I've started to hear that. And I'm like, okay, so I'll be that. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know why all these gradations are necessary. For me personally, I thought about this for a while, and I tried to think about, how have I internalized colorism? What does that look like in my everyday life? I don't think I've ever been at least directly teased or ridiculed or made fun of or anything because of my complexion. I also don't think I've ever been active. Well, let me come back to that, because I have been actively chosen because of my complexion at least one time that I know of. I don't think, I know that I've never actively teased or ridiculed anybody else because of their complexion, regardless of where they are on the spectrum, on the brown paper bag spectrum. But what gave me pause is whether or not I've internalized some of this colorism and have acted out of kind of in a microaggressive kind of a way. Like, do I have some of these things in me that are so deeply ingrained that I kind of do them without even thinking about it? And the only thing that came to mind was I remember being a teenager when we had, all of these rap groups and singing groups out. And I had a friend group. And in my friend group, there was a lighter skinned friend. And then there was me, darker skinned friend. And there was almost always this agreement, whether spoken or unspoken. I guess it had been spoken enough that it had become unspoken, that if there was a group, whether it's celebrity guys, the guys that you have in the Right On magazine and paste on your wall, or if we go out to a party or we go out to a mall, if there's lighter skinned guys, she would gravitate towards them and I would gravitate towards the darker skinned guys. Even to, I remember Salt and Pepper was out with their Push It video. And we practiced this Push It video. You couldn't tell us we weren't Salt and Pepper. But in that combination, I had to be Pepper and she had to be Salt, because Pepper was, I guess, darker than Salt. But the difference in complexion was so slight to me that I was, but so that's the part that I think was ingrained. And then, I did have someone select me because of my skin complexion. And the way I was selected is this, to date, is that this person said to me, Oh, you know what? I've been dating light-skinned women or light-skinned girls, and they cheat all of the time. And so
Whoa.
now I like you because you're dark skinned. And at the time, I was like, oh, okay, so dark-skinned girls have high moral compass. That's
And
what
don't
that's
cheat.
about.
Wow.
And they
Okay.
don't cheat because they have high
Okay.
moral compass. It's not until years later that I was like, wait, is that really what that was? Or was the undercurrent of it, light-skinned girls are more popular and have more options, and you're dark-skinned and you don't have any options, so you can't possibly cheat. But
Wow.
I'm here to tell you I proved that person wrong.
Quote unquote.
Because I had options.
Wow. That sounds like a case study.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Indeed.
I think I should stop. I think I'm going too far. I got
Indeed.
off track somewhere.
Nah, go ahead.
That's
You're
all
doing
right.
good.
It's
You're
all
doing
right.
good.
So good. So good. But we'll stop it right there. But you will come back. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
The
God.
DNRC. Your thoughts, brother?
Wow.
Yeah. How you follow up behind that, right?
Yeah, well, I'm here to tell you that dark-skinned women do cheat. Believe that's a fact. I don't know who this dude was, where he is, and his stance today or how he feels about that, but I bet everything that he has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Believe that. So what really struck me in regards to what D1 said before I get into the whole story and colorism and the topic that you chose, Ja. It's a very interesting topic that we're discussing. And this whole black, brown thing, I think that's self-definitive and it depends on the individual. Because the same thing, depending upon who I'm talking to or a conversation or something like that, just for conversation's sake, it may be a singer or someone, I may not remember the person's name. So the person I'm talking to will say, well, how's she look? I say, oh, she's dark-skinned. She's saying this and that. Oh, I know who you're talking about. She's not dark-skinned, she's brown-skinned. So what if I just say she's black? No, she's not black, she's brown. She's light brown. It gets too complicated. And people really take that very serious.
Yeah.
Now, that's a whole school of thought in regards to that. And it's a lot of things that may lead to it. Maybe your upbringing, it may be your spirituality, whatever it is that you're seeking, or it may be what you were taught. But people really go with this whole black thing and this whole brown thing and this light brown and then there's cinnamon. It just gets too complicated and I just wanted to remember who the person was that sang the song.
All the ice cream flavors,
all of the ice cream flavors. And I don't know when it got to that. So I don't know if that's a gift or a curse in regards to your point, Job, because that means that a lot of the shades are being recognized. You understand? So you can look at it also in that regard. If someone's recognizing that they're this and this and that and that, as opposed to just everybody being black. Back when that was the case, when, oh, they're black. So when I was young and in high school, probably through high school and in my early 20s, for the most part, all I dated was light-skinned girls. All I wanted to date was light-skinned girls. But at the time, I didn't have any idea what colorism was, or if I played in part to that, or how to define it. That wasn't even a phrase or some terminology back then. This was a preference to me. This is not to say there wasn't any dark-skinned girls. I'll just use dark-skinned for the sake of the conversation. I won't say black or brown or cinnamon or anything like that. Just to move it along. Butter pecan, just to move it along. Not to say that at that time, there wasn't any dark-skinned girls that I didn't think were attractive. It was a preference to me. So, and this had nothing to do with my upbringing because my mom was black, my sister was black, and my brother and I, we used to snap on my sister about her skin, but we never snapped on each other about that.
Mm.
When we were very young, we used to say, "Ah, shut up, Blackie," and things like that. But that's cool.
Wow.
But we're the same complexion.
That's
You
incredible.
see, I don't know if that's just a sibling thing where you snap. I don't know if it was just because she was a woman or where that came from. But at the time, it was funny. And she say her jokes back to us, but her joke back wasn't in regards to our complexion. It would just be us being ugly, or you're skinny, your pajamas too tight, you something like that. Or you're
Wait.
stupid.
You had tight pajamas?
Oh, I was a kid. Two-piece
Oh,
pajamas.
man.
Yeah, you remember with the cars and all that. That's another conversation. So her response back when we snap it wouldn't have anything to do with her complexion. So we playing into this again at the time. We don't know anything about colorism. So during this time, when I was just dating these light-skinned girls, my mother and sister, they didn't really like that. So they took a different perspective on that to say that, is this how you feel about us? So a couple of times in a number of conversations, I had to explain to them, listen, it is a preference. Now, who's to say you can't like what you like if I'm not hurting anybody else? I'm not hurting anyone. This is what me, Mark Mills, this is what I like. Now, if you see me with one light-skinned girl 1 week, a different light-skinned girl a month later, that doesn't mean I have anything against dark-skinned women. This is what I prefer. So if there's a gentleman that likes big women, let's say women that weigh 250 plus, easy, but he don't prefer slim women, is there something for that? Is that sizeism? Is that weightism? You see, these are these conversations and things like that. It become complicated because people try to tie it back to something that's gone way back or maybe in your psyche. For some, that may be the case, but for me, it was a preference. Then it was over. Mm-hmm. Just like that. As I grew up, as I got older, on into my 20s, it was a mix of both. As dark as there could possibly be, I dated. As light as there could possibly be, I dated. But at that particular time in high school, this was a preference that I had. But to your point, I don't know how I played into that, if it was just a preference for me. And I think that I don't really think it's going on as much as it was before, because, you know, we all grew up in the 90s and seeing the music videos. And this was always a constant conversation. And a lot of the artists got a lot of flack for that, and the record companies, because every single girl in the video is light skin, long hair, blue eyes, gray eyes, you name it, light skin, long hair, light skin, short hair, but they were definitely light skin. Now, these are all beautiful women. Now, it's impossible for us to think that every single one of these artists that prefer these women in their videos didn't think that they were beautiful dark-skinned women. It may not even have been them that chose it. It may be the casting director. But we know that these things was going on, and we bought into it. We still supported the artists. We still bought their music. We still bought the records, the cassettes, the CDs. So on a larger scale, we all played into that because we never protested. I definitely watched all the music videos, probably more than once, probably 3 or 4 or 5 times, because I liked what I saw on the screen and I thought that they were beautiful. And I can't even remember when the term colorism came out to say that that's what it was. But as of today, 2022, where we are, September 2022, I don't think it's as prevalent as it used to be before. Now, it may be some nuances within that here and there, but I think it's more so within us. Like what Tamika said about, what are you? Are you black? Are you brown? Well, if you're black, that's just your race, but brown is your color. But you don't put that on the application. You see how complicated this gets? And then some people, I think they go as far as to bleach their skin. That's more psychological. For some reason, I don't know why that is. Now, who am I to fault that person? There's something in their mind where they feel like I need to do this. I can't fault them for that. Maybe they have the means to do it. I don't know anyone personally that feels like that or may have gone through that or want to do that or whatever it is in life that it is that they're experiencing that would make them want to do that. I'm curious to know why. Because I don't feel like that. I've never felt like that. I never felt any shade towards light-skinned guys. I never felt I competed with them. I never felt I competed with them in regards to women. In any regard, I still don't to this day. But you know, I know the term colorism is a term that people tend to use, but I think it's more so within us and this whole complexion thing. I think that's the bigger picture. And depending upon what you say, that says a lot about what you identify with and how you feel yourself to be.
Nice, nice. So there's some great viewpoints, you guys. So the thing about it is that in my humble opinion, this country celebrates and exalts, whether through media, entertainment, exalts the people of the lighter hue, because the people of the lighter hue is closest to white, and media has always portrayed that as a standard of beauty for the past 30, 40 odd years. Except for now, we see different variations of beauty acknowledged as beautiful. Like for instance, we could take Lupita Nyong'o. She's recognized as a beautiful woman.
Gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. She's a dog.
Gorgeous.
But prior to that, it's been fair-skinned women, red bone to white, because they're closer to that standard of beauty. And I think it affected us either consciously or subconsciously, because to your point, rappers or casting directors, they cast video girls who are of lighter skin because they feel that they appeal to the visuals of us, the audience. And even to Tamika's point, when it came to salt and pepper, most of the guys liked salt. And salt is the light skin one, but most of the guys like salt. And even with the female celebrities in our community, most of the guys liked the woman with the lighter hue, the lighter skin face with the eyes and what have you. When it comes to interaction and romance, like I read before, it seems like the darker hued people exalted the lighter skinned people, at least from what I've seen coming up. And so and then with the women, with the light skinned women, the boys paid attention to the lighter skinned girls, which made the dark skinned girls more jealous, or appeared jealous, and they assumed that she thought she was all that. I know y'all have heard that saying before amongst girls about a light-skinned girl. I can't stand her. She thinks she all that. Right? Because they're observing how all the boys are surrounding her. She got the milkshake that's bringing all the boys to the yard, and the milkshake is the light skin, is a light skin. You know what I'm saying? And then in some cases, this is exception to the norm. There were some light-skinned girls that were gassed because they was getting all the attention, and they really weren't as cute as some of the darker hue sisters. You know, I've seen it from my own eyes, but they gassed because they're the popular ones. And the same and like I said again, same with the boys. Same with the boys up until the 90s. So coming up, boys just as girls was made fun of their dark skin as well, until the 90s, when we started becoming teenagers, the grown men, then the dark men started getting love from all shades of women. And aside from the fact that other races experiences it too, the classism, the lighter your skin, the more it represents a higher class person, where darker skinned person represents low class. And this is all around the world pretty much. So it's not just us really. It's in the Latin world, it's in the Asian world. The Filipinos are considered low class because of their skin color. They're like the dark skinned Asians. The Cubans, the Dominicans, they're the dark skinned Latinos, right? The Spaniards look down upon them. People, European Spanish look down upon them. So this colorism thing runs the gamut. It runs the world, man. It's unfortunate, and it does still happen to this day. Although I may not witness it offhand, but I can only speak from within my community and my people. I see it from my, within my community and my people. And again, I have to say again, us as men, collectively, I don't see us exalting the dark women in a light of beauty as we do our light-skinned sisters, and more so than the sisters do us. The sisters love us, man. And we can't deny that. You know what I'm saying? Idris, women love Idris. Women love that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Look at it.
Women.
She just changed the whole tone.
Sorry.
You know what I'm saying?
You want to jump in right there?
Women love Idris. Women love Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Because not just of his athletic prowess, but how he looks. They find them dudes to be handsome men, and they're dark. So
Curtis Cook. What's that dude who plays Luke Cage? He another one.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so we're not gonna start naming food.
Oh, I thought that's what we were doing. I apologize.
You ready, right?
But conversely, I'm hearing cats like, I'm about to call the name. I'm hearing cats like Gilbert Arenas throwing shade at Lupita. You remember that, right, T? Did you?
I don't remember that.
No, I don't remember that either.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He said he made disparaging comments about her looks in an interview.
He's kind of a jerk, though.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so that's why I maintain that argument. We're not there yet. We're not reciprocal. We're not reciprocal showing the love back collectively. There may be some of us that acknowledge the beauty of dark-skinned women, but collectively, I don't think all of us do. And so we have to really make a shift, just like our sisters made the shift. We have to in turn make that shift right back to them, and see beauty no matter what hue.
You sound like you're on a campaign.
Yo, I'm voting for him. What are you running for?
But so the one thing when it comes to us doing this now, right, not wrong, and the audience and the things that we express and we talk about, keep in mind, this is a platform. This is a platform for us because we have people watching. We have people listening to it. By the way, we're on 92.6 The Spot every Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Also, check us out on YouTube, Not Right, Not Wrong. Make sure you share and subscribe. Subscribe and share, watch it, and then subscribe again. And then share it again. So the point that I was going to make in regards to that is that we can't just make sweeping generalizations about people or men or groups or subgroups when we say things like that. So the language that we speak, it always have to include some. Because if we don't say some, that means we're saying all people do this. All people like red cars. All people like the New York Giants. All people hate the New York Jets. If y'all notice, my reference always goes back to those two teams for those who've been watching. Do you understand? Or all men like women who wear gray turtlenecks. You understand?
That's true. Facts.
For those of you that's listening, you ain't see the face, but you'll remember it. So we can't make super generalizations like that. And I think there are a lot of people, just men in general, that celebrate beauty, period. It don't necessarily have to be beauty from a woman that's Black or white or Spanish. They just celebrate beauty, period. And, you know, what they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So in regards to Gilbert Arenas, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. Now, if he used colorful language and anything like that, okay, that may border on disrespectful depending upon how he worded it. But if he didn't say anything disparaging or anything about her ancestry, anything like that, she may not be attractive to him. It's nothing wrong with that. He may come across someone else that may be of the same skin tone and he'll say, oh, wow, she is gorgeous. We don't know what's in his head. I don't know what's in his head. I don't know what's in any man's head in regards to what they think is beautiful. You know, I've seen some dudes that I know with whatever shade, and he think the woman is gorgeous. Now, I may think she looked like a car accident. You understand? But that's me. I had a homeboy. He's still a good friend of mine. This was a long time ago. I was talking to him and he was telling me about the young lady he was seeing at the time. Okay. I know all the kids is in the bed, so I'm gonna speak about this. I said, you've been talking about her a lot. He's like, yeah. He was like, you know, I'm with her because of what she does orally. Oh, okay. If that's you, rock out. I was like, how she look? Just go on his phone, flip through. And he showed me a picture of her, right? I damn near jumped out the train. And the train was in the tunnel. You understand? I couldn't believe that. I don't know how I ain't throw his phone. She looked like a straight up car accident. You understand?
Yeah.
But again, this goes back to my original point. They said we can't say those type of things about all men because some men just celebrate beauty different. And once we start saying individually, then that's for everyone. So every Black man, that's saying we have a responsibility to love all Black women and then uplift them just because they're not as light as their counterparts. How you know they're not doing that? We haven't taken a consensus. We haven't gotten a survey or anything like that.
Yeah, but Mark, come on.
But
Mark.
Hang on, T.
Right. But we can't assume that. So if we do, right, and this is what we're doing since we have this platform, we always have to start with some. You understand? This is me speaking for me. This is not me trying to change Jah's mind about how he feels in his crusade, nor about D1 wearing turtlenecks. This is just me and just adding that into the conversation and just using some. That's the point I was trying to make.
Well taken, brother. Well taken.
Nah.
Go ahead,
not by me. So I hear you. I hear the some comment, and I think I'm probably not going to use that language because for me it's always implied, and I know, you know, some people really want to enunciate that, but I hope that when I speak that I can be given that amount of grace to say, oh, Tamika is not talking about every single person. And maybe I won't use the language around some, but I maybe will refer to, you know, groups and subgroups and things of that nature. But I also extend that grace when other people are speaking. Most of the time I can say, oh, this person is not talking about every single person. Mm-hmm. So I agree with that. I agree with your underlying thoughts, but I don't know that that's going to come out in my language, but that's almost always what I'm trying to relay. With that in mind, I think that we all have a personal responsibility to do self-reflection as it relates to this topic and pretty much any topic under the sun. There is the capacity for preference, right? There's people have preferences. Some people like tall people, you like short people, you like people of the same sex, you like people who are intersex, you like, there are all different preferences.
Indeed.
But I think what the heart of Ja's thought and topic is what is the intention behind the preference, and can we examine what goes on? I think the reality is, anecdotally, I can't think of many experiences where I felt directly impacted by colorism. I can't. However, I think colorism in my lifetime maybe more so showed up in, to your example, Mark, in entertainment. It may have shown up as microaggressions. I think anecdotally speaking, like, I don't think everyone feels this way, but I think dark-skinned men, dark-skinned Black men in particular, because as Josh said, I do think colorism exists in every community. Asian, South Asian,
Certainly.
Latin, all the communities seem to have an experience of colorism. But in the Black community, dark-skinned Black men, there are some stereotypes connected with dark-skinned Black men, being that dark-skinned Black men might be more violent, more dangerous, more aggressive. Whereas lighter-skinned Black men are seen as not only more sexually desirable to some, and in periods of time, because, you know, in that Christopher Williams, I'll Be Sure period of time, that particular skin tone connected with the hair, with the hair texture, that was the thing. And so seen as more sexually desirable at times, seen as safer, seen as more malleable, seen as like, I can maybe get this. If I have a quota to meet in an organization, maybe I'll bring this light-skinned dude in because I think I can navigate him better. And I think some of this stuff is not conscious. Some of this stuff is so ingrained that it happens without thinking, which is why when Ja introduced this topic, I felt like I can't find it consciously. I need to take a minute and see where it lands on me unconsciously, which is a hard thing to do. Right. And I think for dark-skinned Black women, we've been seen as like aggressive, undesirable, obstinate, physically strong to the point that it's been dangerous in like medical communities, right? Our physical pain has been discounted. Oh, it's not as bad as you say it is. And it's hard to prove that that's directly correlated to colorism. But at the same time, I think we do ourselves a disservice by saying, well, we can't, not that anybody here said this, but by saying, oh, you know, we can't prove it, or how do we know? I think we have to think about what the possibilities are. There's no way that we ingested decades of music videos with light-skinned women and long hair or short hair or fine hair. There's no way that we all ingested that without it having an impact. And this is why you see Viola Davis is now, like, she is always going around, not always, but often talking about what impact her complexion has had on her career. And Definitely. That's one of the things that made The Woman King such a groundbreaking film, is that it's primarily women, dark-skinned women. We wouldn't have to have that conversation about that film if colorism didn't exist. And yeah, maybe we didn't have the word colorism, but it still, as a dynamic, existed.
Certainly. And I mean, and to your point in regards to that, if we go back some, and this particular woman, for the sake of the conversation, let's say she's dark-skinned. So after all these years, when she's going out with her girls and her crew, or whatever it is she may go, club, party, or whatever type of setting it may be, the majority of the gentlemen that approached her and her girls went to the lighter skinned girls. Now, into the latter years in her life, she may be on into let's say late 20s, early 30s, and she's being appreciated for her beauty. So now it may be difficult for her to take that in and receive it. Not only receive it, to believe that that's the case. So let's say she's come across a gentleman and he's genuine in exactly how he feels about her and how she looks. He's all in with her looks and he constantly compliments her. Now she feels that he's being dishonest because for all these years, she hasn't felt beautiful. She has been told she's beautiful. She has been told that by her parents or anyone else. Now he's telling her this, but she's looking at it totally different in regards to how he feels, and he's genuine and telling her that. That's more psychological. That's something she has to do something with to be able to take that in and honestly believe him. Like, listen, I think you are beautiful. You're one of the most beautiful women I ever met. That's something within inside her. She has to believe that she's beautiful, but she doesn't. I don't know if that relates to colorism, but that has affected her so long because she wasn't chosen whenever she went out and everyone went to someone else. Now she's actually being chosen. She can't just receive that information or believe she looks this good to someone else. I think that falls in place with that. And that kind of falls into some of the things that Tamika was saying. We all have to think about it and look at it and how we're playing into it and all these microaggressions and things of that nature. But so, Jod, back to you, since this was your topic, what is it that you would like to see done? Let's say that.
Well, in part to your point, definitely one should examine oneself within and find a love within oneself, and it will emanate outward, and they will receive whatever they magnetize and however they feel about themselves. So it definitely starts within. I agree with that. And number two, just to acknowledge you, Mark, you're absolutely right. My point of view is from my journey and my story only. And so although I projected and from my observations, you're right, that is not every single man. That's not every single Black man. You're right about that. So I can acknowledge that. But so, and like you said, this is the purpose of the platform, to share different perspectives. So I'm coming in from my story, my journey, and what I've observed, and even what I've received from my own inner projections, right? So at the end of the day, it's really about self-love and recognizing how truly beautiful you are as a person. Each of us has to take the time to build that up within ourselves, and then as a result, we will get that type of energy back to us, whether we're chalk or charcoal colored. Beauty's always in the eye of the beholder.
Definitely.
And we all have to not get caught up in what society is trying to send to us or project onto us. We have to really have the mind to not let that feed us into our subconscious, because whether we realize it or not, we're projecting what is fed into our subconsciousness at times, I think. So within that, we really have to just not pay attention and recognize it's not real, that it's not real, and it's not true, and shift the collectively make our own individual efforts to shift the paradigm.
So a bigger question, I'll ask to both of you, since we're all parents. I'll start with you, D1, since you have on the turtleneck. I'll start with you. So the bigger question is, so let's say a conversation like this comes about from your daughter. Your daughter come home and she talks to you and said, Mom, this guy that I like, he said he doesn't like me because I'm too dark. What do you say to that?
Where he at? Let's go run on the floor.
All right. I didn't say catch a charge. I didn't say the steps to catching a case, you know. So let's remove getting lawyers involved and bail money.
Or, you know, getting the goons or the uncles.
You know, you understand? What do you say?
So I'm a back out of it just a wee bit, because I think, first of all, I have children, I think, of slightly different complexions, and I'm, you know, so there's that, and I have family members with a wide variety of complexions, and so I don't have any memory ever within my family of anybody being made fun of because of their complexion, like, ever, at least according to my memory.
Okay.
So there is that piece of it. And so I'm saying that for two reasons. One, it's not language that is currently in the family structure. And two, it's not language that's currently in the family structure. So there's the pro and the con of that it doesn't exist, but I also haven't had any direct conversation about it. But I also think that I do a pretty good job of encouraging sort of emotional intelligence in my children, and encouraging them to think things through, and to think about, and to understand who they are in the world, not just the good things or the quote unquote good things, but all of the parts of them. And so I say that to say that I hope in doing that, I instill enough esteem in my children so that when they walk out of the door, like, I filled them up so much that they now know how to fill and refill themselves more often than not. So I want to just put that there. And so if they come back home and they need some refilling, I'm going to do that. I'm going to refill them, and I'm going to talk about what makes them special, beautiful, and unique. Not you're the only, like, not that you're the template of beauty and uniqueness, but here's the realm of possibility of that. And then I'm going to tell them that little boy, his opinion is trash because I'm still from the Bronx. So after I get over all of the evolved conversation, I'm gonna tell her, I know y'all said that this can't be part of it, but my honest answer is, where he at? Let's go see him. Let's go talk to his mammy and his pappy, and let's see what we could do. That's my full answer. Thank you very much.
Job Money, before you respond to that, I just want to let y'all know we got about 6 minutos.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. So,
what would you say? Same scenario.
My scenario would be a little different because my daughter isn't dark. So for her, it would be more so about her features. So because she has a full nose and lips, and that's another topic in another itself too. That gets sometimes disparaging comments, and that's been equated. Well, not so much now, but y'all know back then, the big nose, full lips thing was not something that was regarded as beauty and societal standards.
Definitely.
So it would be more so about her features than more so her skin tone. So my wife and I, we encourage and instill and make her see the beauty that she has. We make her understand that what she possesses, a lot of people pay to acquire. We try to make her understand that what she has is God-given, and it's natural, and it's beautiful, because and that God doesn't make any mistakes in how He created each
Definitely.
any one of us, right? So we're at the end of the day, we're all individual works of art that He created. We're all perfectly made, be it from the human eye. Some of us look like we got big heads or big noses or whatever, big lips, whatever, but we're perfectly made. He made us that way. He made us that way for a reason. So this is something that my wife and I, instill in her.
What you gonna do to the boy though, Ja? What you gonna do to the boy?
Well, no, I mean, if the boy, I pretty much.
Ja gonna run on him. Ja gonna run on that fool.
Yeah. You see, D1 want to catch a case.
Yeah, it ain't even about catching the case, because apparently his ignorance is from limited.
It's taught.
Yeah,
that's taught.
It's taught. Or either taught or limited teachings.
One of the two.
One of the two.
One of the two.
Right. So that's something we laugh off. Like,
so
don't even worry about him or what he say.
I noticed during the course of this whole entire episode, before we conclude, because we got about 3-4 minutes left roughly, that I haven't mentioned that I am still handsome. So
that's right.
allow me this
talk, boy,
to say I am still handsome.
Talk that.
And this is in keeping with the topic and colorism and black, brown, cinnamon, whatever hue, color, dark skin, all that.
Time is ticking, bro. Time is ticking.
I am still handsome.
All that. Talk that talk, boy.
So
Idris up level.
Same scenario. I would answer it too, but I would approach it from a point of me asking her, why does she need validation from this gentleman in order for her to question herself? Who is he but another human being that you are also? You know, and she gets constant positive reinforcement in regards to her, how she look, but it's less focused on her looks and more so her mental health, her spiritual health, her emotional health, and things of that nature. Because you have to feel beautiful. That's a feeling. Some people think it's a look. No, it's a feeling. I have to feel that I'm handsome. And I do. You understand? Tamika has to feel that she looks good in a turtleneck. And she does. But you have to feel that first. So I would approach it from there and questioning, why do you need validation from him to mention something about your complexion? Someone else will like it. You know, that sounds like such a woman line, don't it? For, you know, a guy say something to a woman, somebody like it. You know, that sound real sassy. I never liked that term, but that's a whole other topic.
But it goes both ways, man. It goes both ways.
It go both ways.
But to echo your point, the feeling is within, and aesthetic wise, we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah, facts.
So
facts.
You have it's incumbent upon you to feel positive about yourself.
About yourself. Vibrate yourself. Yeah, it's all inside. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Indeed.
Listen, catch us on 92.6 every Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Not Right, Not Wrong on YouTube. Check it out, subscribe, share it, and then reshare it, post it on everything. IG, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything. I said IG, right? Isn't IG Instagram?
It's IG.
Yes,
Yeah, IG is
yes,
Instagram.
old fella. IG is Instagram. We
yes.
need to get y'all on TikTok.
I'm gonna
Y'all need
blame
to do
that
some
on age.
dances.
Yeah, we definitely need to do the TikTok thing.
That's that 50. That's
Since
that
this
50.
is Josh's topic, you know, whenever we have the topic, that person close it out. So I'll send it back to JJ.
Yes, sir. Just real quick, we thank you for tuning in on behalf of my comrades, the Empress D1 and the DARC. This is your boy JJ, just Ja, and we are signing off. Peace and blessings. Till next time.